in the countryside for always having lots of guests. Their doors were always open, and every Shabbos they had about 30 people come to their house for a really beautiful meal. Now, Reb Eliezer and his wife, they lived a very simple life. Unfortunately, they were never blessed with children. And even though Reb Eliezer made a very good living, all of the money they had, they spent on having guests and helping other people. Now, they were very famous for this mitzvah of Hachnasas Archim, and everyone knew that they would be welcome in their home. One Shabbos afternoon, in the middle of the meal, Reb Eliezer hears a knock at his door. He goes to open it and he sees there's a traveler, and he looks really exhausted. He's sweating, he's very hot, and Reb Eliezer says, please come inside, make yourself at home. And all the guests looked at this man, and it was just very strange that someone was coming on Shabbos, and it was clear that he had been traveling. He had probably broken Shabbos, but no one said anything. And Reb Eliezer was giving him so much respect. He didn't treat him any differently to any of his other guests. He sat him down at the table, he gave him lots to eat, and he was really taking amazing care of him. The other guests watched with growing concern. They saw this man had clearly broken Shabbos. He had come from another place, but Reb Eliezer didn't seem to care. He was treating him with so much respect, caring for his every need, and they just couldn't understand why he was giving him so much respect. This man broke Shabbos. He had done such a big avera. One of the guests was so angry he couldn't even control himself anymore as he watched all that was happening. So he screamed out, don't you know, Reb Eliezer, that even Avram Avinu, who had so much chesed and his house was always open, when he would have a guest that would refuse to bless Hashem, that would refuse to make an after bracha after they had food that he prepared, he would tell them they have to pay. He would treat them in a harsh way. This man over here has clearly broken Shabbos. He's done something so not good. Why are you giving him so much respect? Reb Eliezer was very pained by this attack. He quickly went to another room and he began to cry. He was so sad that they had treated his guest in this kind of way. They had embarrassed him. He didn't care so much that they embarrassed Reb Eliezer, that they embarrassed him, but he was very sad for the way that they spoke about this guest. And then he goes back to the room and he treats his guest with even more respect, giving him everything he wants and needs. Shabbos had finally come to an end, and this man was still there at Reb Eliezer's house. Now, Reb Eliezer had a beautiful minhag, which made him even more loved by everyone that came to his house, and that was that he would convince all his guests, please stay until Sunday, and on Sunday he would give them lots of food and lots of money, and he would walk them out, and that would allow them to have provisions for the rest of their trip. And it was no different with this man. He said, please stay until Sunday. And finally, it comes time. He gives the man lots of food. He gives him money as usual. And he starts to walk him to the door. They continue to walk silently for a long while. And finally, the man said something that absolutely came as such a surprise. He said, Reb Eliezer, I want to tell you something. I want to tell you who I really am. I am Eliyahu Hanavi, and I came to give you a test of Hachnasas Archim. Yes, you always are so kind to everyone, but I came to test that when it's going to be a real challenge for you, are you still going to be able to pass the test? Not only did you pass, you passed with flying colors. And as a result, in the merit of what you've done, Hashem is going to bless you with a baby boy. And you can imagine how excited Reb Eliezer was. He had never had a child before. He was absolutely thrilled. Eliyahu Hanavi also said that when your son is born, Reb Eliezer, I want you to tell him a very important lesson. And it should be as soon as he's able to understand, you should tell him he should never fear anyone in his life. He should fear absolutely nothing aside from Hashem, aside from the one above. And with these words, Eliyahu Hanavi vanished. A short time later, with great happiness, Reb Eliezer and his wife welcomed a child into the world, and this child's name was Yisrael, known as the Baal Shem Tov. girls, by the way, the reason that I'm sitting here is because this is a very, very famous picture of the Baal Shem Tov. It could be that a few of you maybe even have it in your house, maybe you've seen it around, but the Baal Shem Tov used to go on all kinds of incredible different adventures with his Hasidim. And we are told that often his wagon would fly. And over here you could see that, the Baal Shem Tov with his Hasidim in the wagon.